From the moment human beings are born, they carry within themselves a powerful desire, the desire to be happy. Everyone hopes for a better life. The poor wish for money so their lives can become easier. Those who already have money wish for more wealth to feel secure. Those who have status often desire even greater recognition. Deep within the human heart, there is often a quiet feeling that something is still missing. This feeling of incompleteness creates a kind of emptiness inside the mind. People constantly try to fill that emptiness with different things. Some try to fill it with money. Some try to fill it with fame. Some try to fill it with love. Others try to fill it with the approval of other people. Yet, something very strange happens. No matter how much they gain, people still often feel unsatisfied. A young person might believe that if they can find a good job, they will finally be happy. But once they obtain that job, they begin to desire a higher salary. Once they earn more money, they start wanting a higher position. One desire leads to another. It is like standing by the ocean and watching the waves. Before one wave disappears, another wave is already forming. Human desire works in the same way. The Buddha observed the nature of the human mind very deeply. He realized that much of the suffering in life does not come from external circumstances, but from the endless desires that arise within the mind. He called this craving. Craving is the intense longing to obtain something. It may be wealth, under fame, power, love, or anything that a person believes will bring happiness. The problem is that craving never truly ends. When one desire is fulfilled, the mind immediately creates another. The Buddha once said, "Human desire is like the ocean. The more you drink, the thirstier you become." This statement reveals a profound truth about human nature. When people achieve what they want, they often feel pleasure for a short period of time. But that pleasure does not last. After a while, the mind begins searching for something new. This is why many people who achieve great success in life still feel empty. Some people have great wealth, yet remain anxious. Some people hold powerful positions, yet still feel insecure. Some people possess everything that others dream of, yet they still feel that something is missing. This happens because people often confuse temporary satisfaction with true happiness. Temporary satisfaction arises when a desire is fulfilled. But true happiness does not come from fulfilling endless desires. True happiness comes from peace of mind. When the mind is no longer trapped in the endless cycle of craving, a person begins to experience a lighter and more peaceful life. The Buddha did not teach that people must abandon all material things. He did not say that people must live in poverty. What he taught is that people must understand the true nature of their own minds. When we realize that desire is endless, we can begin to let go. Letting go does not mean abandoning life. It means not allowing endless desires to control the mind. When a person learns to be content, they experience greater peace. A simple meal can bring joy. A quiet morning can bring happiness. The Buddha once said, "The one who knows contentment is the richest person." Richness does not mean having a lot of money. True richness means having a mind that is no longer bound by endless craving. When the mind becomes lighter, life also becomes lighter. And this is the first step toward freedom from suffering. The Buddha did not only say that desire is the cause of suffering, he also explained why desire has such a powerful influence over the human mind. Whenever a desire appears in the mind, it is usually accompanied by a strong belief. The belief that achieving that desire will make us happier. For example, a person might believe that if they earn more money, their life will become easier and more joyful. Another person may believe that if they gain recognition and admiration from others, they will feel more fulfilled. This belief pushes people to continuously pursue new goals. However, the problem is that when a desire is fulfilled, the happiness it brings only lasts for a short period of time. After that, the mind gradually becomes accustomed to what it already has. Once familiarity appears, the excitement begins to fade. The mind then starts searching for something new to recreate that feeling of excitement. This is a very familiar cycle in human life. A person may buy a new phone and feel extremely happy, but after a few months, that phone becomes ordinary. When a newer model appears, the desire begins again. This cycle does not only happen with material possessions, it also occurs with fame, power, and even relationships. When people do not understand the nature of this cycle, they believe that the solution to their inner emptiness is to obtain more things. But the reality is quite the opposite. The more people chase after things, the more exhausted the mind becomes. The more a person owns, the more they begin to worry. Someone with little money worries about earning it. Someone with great wealth worries about losing it. Someone without recognition worries about being unnoticed. Someone with recognition worries about losing their status. This is why the Buddha said that suffering does not come from having too little or too much, but from the mind's attachment. Attachment means that the mind believes it must hold on to what it already has and must obtain what it does not yet possess. When the mind becomes attached, it lives in constant tension. It fears losing what it has. It worries about what it has not yet achieved. It constantly compares itself to others. All of these create enormous pressure within the mind. The Buddha taught that life itself is constantly changing. Everything in this world is impermanent. Wealth can disappear. Fame can fade away. Health can decline. Relationships can change. When people cling to things that are naturally impermanent, they will always live in fear. Fear of losing what they love. Fear of not obtaining what they desire. This fear itself is a deep form of suffering. The Buddha did not say that people should not have goals in life. Instead, he taught that people must understand that everything changes. When we understand this truth, the mind becomes more flexible. A person can still work hard and pursue meaningful goals, but they are no longer imprisoned by the results. They act with awareness. They live with the understanding that true happiness does not come from gaining more things, but from changing the way we see life. When the mind is no longer controlled by endless desires, people begin to experience freedom. This freedom does not come from having more. It comes from needing less. When we need less, the mind becomes lighter. When the mind becomes lighter, life becomes more peaceful. This is the profound wisdom that the Buddha taught more than 2,000 years ago. After understanding that desire is the root of much suffering in life, an important question arises. Can human beings truly escape this endless cycle? The Buddha did not only explain the cause of suffering, he also showed a path that leads to peace of mind. This path is not about running away from life. It is not about rejecting the world or abandoning everything. The path begins with understanding the nature of the mind. When people observe their minds deeply, they begin to realize that many of their desires are not truly necessary. Many things we believe we need are actually habits created by the mind. For example, a person may believe that they need a larger house in order to feel happy, but once they obtain that house, a new desire soon appears. This happens because the mind is accustomed to constantly seeking something new. The Buddha taught that the first step to breaking the cycle of desire is mindfulness. Mindfulness means clearly recognizing what is happening inside the mind when a desire appears. Instead of immediately chasing it, we simply recognize it and say, "This is a desire." We observe it. When we observe calmly, we begin to see that desire is like a cloud. It appears, stays for a while, and eventually fades away. Many desires in life actually exist only briefly in the mind, but when we are unaware of them, we become carried away by them. The Buddha also taught that people can cultivate contentment. Contentment does not mean becoming passive or giving up on life. Contentment means appreciating what we already have. A content person can still work hard, but they are not obsessed with having more than others. They do not constantly compare themselves with everyone around them. They understand that each person walks a different path. When the mind is no longer dominated by comparison and craving, a person begins to experience freedom. This freedom is very simple. It is the peace felt while sitting quietly on a calm morning. It is the joy of watching sunlight pass through the leaves of a tree. It is the lightness that comes when the mind is no longer pulled in hundreds of different directions by endless desires. The Buddha taught that true happiness does not come from gaining more. True happiness comes from knowing when enough is enough. When a person understands this, their life begins to change. They can still live in this world, still work, still build a family, and still pursue meaningful goals. But within their heart, there is a deep peace. They no longer feel pressured to have more, to be better, or to be more successful than everyone else. They live with the understanding that life is constantly changing. Everything comes and goes. When we truly understand this, we no longer cling so tightly to temporary things. We learn to live more lightly. The Buddha once said, "Peace does not mean a life without difficulties. Peace means a mind that is not disturbed by those difficulties." When the mind becomes peaceful, people begin to realize that happiness is not something far away. Happiness is already present in this very moment. It exists in our breath. It exists in the quietness of the mind. It exists in the ability to let go of unnecessary things. And when people understand this truth, they are no longer trapped in the endless cycle of desire. This is the path that the Buddha showed more than 2,000 years ago, a path that is very simple, yet profoundly deep. It is the path of awareness, wisdom, and contentment.